Hi all, I'm Pushp Sirohi and today we'll discuss about negative reinforcements. It's a part of motivation. It comes under operant conditioning learning, so it's also a very important, aspects in motivation of human beings. So most of the organization, use this method to motivate their employees. So let's discuss about negative reinforcement. So first of all, what is negative reinforcement is a question which comes in our mind. So the answer is negative reinforcement is a method that can be used to help teach specific behaviors. With negative reinforcement, something uncomfortable or otherwise unpleasant is taken away in response to a stimulus. Over time, the target behavior should increase with the expectations that the unpleasant thing will be taken away. So behaviors are negatively reinforced when they allow you to escape from aversive stimuli that are already present, or allow you completely avoid the situations before they happen. So like deciding to take an antacid before you indulging in a spicy meal is an example of negative reinforcement. So you engage in an action in order to avoid a negative results. So that comes under negative reinforcement. So like when you look at in this way, it may be easier to identify examples of negative in reinforcement in real world. So let's see the negative reinforcement examples. So like let's discuss these examples, and I'll let you know which one is the negative reinforcement. So like first example is before heading out for a day at a beach, use lather sunscreen to avoid getting sunburned. So you decide to clean up your mess in the kitchen. You decide to clean up your mess in the kitchen to avoid getting into the fight with your roommate. Or on Monday morning, you leave the house early to avoid getting stuck in traffic and being late for work. So at dinner time, a child pouts and refuses to eat of the vegetables in our plate. So our parent quickly take the offending veggies away. Since the behavior led to the removal of aversive stimulus, this is an example of negative reinforcement. So can you identify the negative reinforcement in each of these examples? So sunburn is a fight with your roommate and being late for work. All are negative outcomes that were avoided by performing a specific behavior. So by eliminating these undesirable outcomes, the preventive behaviors become more likely to occur again in the future. So that's how you understand negative reinforcement. So but people are mostly confused with negative reinforcement and punishment. So let's discuss about the like difference between it. So one mistake that people often make is confusing negative reinforcement with punishment. Remember, however, the negative reinforcement involves the removal of negative condition to strengthen a behavior. Punishment, on other hand, involves either presenting or taking away a stimulus to weaken a behavior. So there is a slight difference. So if something is being added or applied as consequences of a behavior, then it is an example of punishment. If something is being removed in order to avoid or relieving an unwanted outcome, then it is an example of negative reinforcement. So in action, so this is the way how we describe about it. So Timmy is supposed to clean his room every Saturday morning. Last weekend, he went out to play with his friend without cleaning his room. As a result, his father made him spend the rest of the weekend doing other chores like cleaning out the garage, mowing the lawn, weeding the garden, and addition to cleaning his room. So all those examples are like the outcomes which will happen in case if you don't take care about the outcomes, negative outcomes. So if you prepare about negative outcomes, you have to work accordingly so that they will never happen. So either you will punished by your parents or your roommates or like any other person. So we have to take care about outcomes, negative outcomes, and then proceed accordingly. So if you are trying to distinguish between negative reinforcement or punishment, consider whether something is being added or taking away from a situation. So if something is being added or applied as a consequence of a behavior, then it's an example of punishment. If something is being removed in order to avoid or relieve an unwanted outcome, so then it's an example of negative reinforcement in action. So let's discuss about when is a negative reinforcement most effective. So negative reinforcement can be effective way to strengthen the desired behavior. However, it is most effective way reinforce are presented immediately following a behavior. So when a long period elapsed between the behavior and the reinforcer, the responses like to be weaker. So in some cases, behavior that occur in intervening time between the initial actions and the reinforcer may also be inadvertently strengthened as well. So some experts believe that the negative reinforcement should be used sparing, sorry, positively reinforcement should be emphasized while negative reinforcement can be produced immediate results. It may be best suited for short-term uses. So, and one more important, the type of reinforcement used is important. So, but the frequency, and schedules used also plays a major role in the strength of responses. So, the schedule of reinforcement that is used can have an important impact, not only how quickly a behavior is learned, but also on the strength of the response. So next time, whenever you think about negative reinforcement, think about all those things, and then act accordingly. So might be possible it's a like negative reinforcement, and your company want you to be more perfect, and you take a right decision. So don't think everything is like a wrong. Many times it says like negative reinforcement. So thank you guys. That's it from my side about negative reinforcement.